Tom, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Let's dive right in. We'll talk about the new solo single, Pretend You Remember Me, which was written in response to Trump's immigration purge. You've also been picketing an anti-ICE protest. Historically, music has always been a part of rebellion. What do you see as music's place in America right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, music is one piece on a chessboard with many pieces, and I think that each of us in our vocation now that does not like the rising fascist tide that we see needs to stand up for what we believe in what we do. In my case here, I saw the terrible ICE raids in LA, families being torn apart, and responded, one, by joining the tens of thousands in the streets to protest, but two, doing what I do in my professional life is writing a song that can sort of go beyond the streets, called Pretend You Remember Me. It's a song that one, reflects both on the terrible immigration policies of the Trump administration, but a reminder that Biden, Trump 1, and Obama as well separated families. This song, Pretend You Remember Me, is from the perspective of a mother who is years and hundreds of miles removed from her child. And before she goes to sleep each night, the prayer that she whispers is that her hope is that her daughter will at least pretend to remember her, trying to put a human face on a broader violent tragedy.
So this sort of leads into new music from you on the solo tip. What can you tell us about the next Tom Morello solo record?
Sure. So this next record will be my 22nd record in my storied career, but it will be the first Tom Morello rock solo album. I've made EDM-oriented albums, folk-oriented albums, albums with bands, but I really, over the course of the last 3 or 4 years, I've been touring with my band, the Freedom Fighter Orchestra, and really sort of embracing the totality of that catalog: Rage, Audioslave, my work with Bruce Springsteen, my acoustic stuff. And I wanted to make a record that reflected that. Big, huge Morellian riffs, some of the more, darkness on the edge of town songwriting. And then I have a collaborative partner in young Roman Morello, my 14-year-old son, who is currently shredding circles around me. I've been poaching some of his best riffs for this album as well.
Over the past year, Roman sort of stepped into his own and sort of pushed you out of the spotlight. He's got One Last Dance, Soldier of the Army of Love. That must be a proud dad moment for you. What's it like watching him come into his own musically?
Yeah, it's certainly, there's certainly been phases of it. He started playing during the pandemic and has that fire that I remember, where you don't have to ask that kid to practice 4 hours a day. He's doing it right now. He's learning one of the most complicated Steve Vai solos, a song called For the Love of God. And I'm in the room just, one, as a proud father, and two, as a guitar playing, going, holy shit, like I'm now relegated to being the rhythm guitar player in my own family.
Have you been handing him records and like, hey, check this out? And...
Yeah. It's funny you should say that, because now that he's sort of latched onto Steve Vai, I've been introducing him to like Eric Johnson, Joe Satriani, Yngwie Malmsteen, and some of the shredders of my youth.
So as someone who's seen sort of the darker side of this business, how do you avoid becoming a helicopter parent while trying to navigate through the shark infested waters?
Oh, that's, what, just, yeah, at this point, I'm not so concerned about that. I have a great time playing guitar with my son. We've now, over the course of the last 2.5 years, played a lot of shows together, from big festival shows to protest shows. And my other son Rhodes is he's been sort of helping out on as assistant lighting director as well. So it's become like the Partridge Family out there on the road, and we're having a ball doing it.
So the solo band's going to be all family members at one point?
I don't know about that. I don't think we can flesh out the entire lineup. Their mom's a little bit shy about. She used to be a bass player though back in the day, but she's a little bit shy about being on stage now.
So then moving on, you just opened up a play in Chicago at the Goodman Theater. What can you tell us about Revolutions that just opened up?
Sure. So I wrote the music and lyrics for a musical called Revolutions, which opened up on October 4th at the Goodman Theater in Chicago. It's the book is written by Zaid Dorn, who's an excellent playwright, and we wrote a musical for these. First of all, a musical is the wrong way to describe it. This is not Annie Get Your Gun or Lion King. It's radical theater with a huge punk rock, heavy metal EDM hip hop soundtrack. It's a big ass rock show. It's a musical for people who don't go to musicals. I don't go to musicals. I want to, the first thing that we wanted to do was to make something that was going to just rock the room to the ground and then have a story that matches the times. Now, ironically, you've seen the anti-fascist upheaval in Chicago against Trump's policies. Like the other day, I was at rehearsal. I literally walked out of rehearsal and into a protest, on the street of Michigan Avenue there. So it's a musical that the time has really caught up to it.
One of the things
I will say just one more thing about the music. It's a beautiful, it's a multi-generational story of love and rebellion, and about how each of us are agents of history, and there's a lot of different ways to have your hands on the wheel of history, no matter what your vocation is, no matter what your background is, no matter what disadvantages or advantages that you've been granted. And then there's a lot of shredding guitar solos.
One of the things that I've always appreciated about you is your sense of storytelling, be it through music. You did the comic series through Dark Horse with Orchid, and now you're doing it in a musical capacity through the theater. What was it about the theater that made this the perfect playground for this story to be told?
Yeah, well, one, I like to make stuff, and two, I had a theater long before I was a guitar player. I was an actor, and in junior high and high school, I love the theater. But the reason why this is in the theater is because my partner in crime in this, Zayd Dorn, reached out during the pandemic, and he said, I would like to try to write a compelling Chicago story using music from your catalog. I said, you can try to do that. Let's see what you do. And he wrote this really beautiful story, which very much sort of ideologically aligns with my point of view, but it's a really great, beautiful human story of two generations of families who are kind of caught up in the idea of what it is, what can we do when we see injustice, and what is the cost of that. So it was less about I want to now enter the world of musical theater, and two, that this beautiful story was woven around my songs, and now we're manifesting it in Chicago. I'm really proud of it, and people have been responding pretty significantly to it. It's a story that veterans love. There's a veteran component to it. It's a story that activists love. It's a story that old like 60, 70, 80-year-old theater goers seem to be enjoying. And then, like I said, it's a big rock and roll show for if you're a fan of Rage Against the Machine or Audioslave. It's built for you. Anybody
can appreciate it.
We'll see. Some people there may be some ideological opposition to it, to some elements. But I've always thought that if you're making art that everyone can agree on, you're probably making pretty shitty art.
So with the on the horizon, you've got the Canadian tour coming up, which is being billed as a night of stories and music. Yes. Without giving too much away, what can fans expect?
Sure. I did this kind of off Broadway show a few years ago where I play songs and I tell tales of triumph and tragedy from my career. It's more people who have been fans of any part of my work, of the long arc of my work with Rage, Audioslave, or my solo stuff. There's a lot of really funny stories. There's a lot of inspiring stories. There's a lot of tragic stories, and then interwoven with that. Originally, I set out to be, it was going to be an acoustic tour playing Night Watchman stuff, but then I decided I just can't go up there to Canada and not bring my electric guitar, so there's going to be plenty of shredding on top of it as well. I'll give you sort of the briefest idea of what one might expect is, it was such an honor to be the musical director of Back to the Beginning, the final Black Sabbath Ozzy Osbourne show, right? And I have such a love for Ozzy and such a love for Sabbath, despite the fact that Ozzy Osbourne once tried to kill me. I was playing a show called Ozzy and Friends at Voodoo Fest in New Orleans. Slash and I were these guests on this show. And what you do is you play a few songs with Ozzy, during the set. And then at the end, you come on to play Paranoid, right? So the end of Ozzy's set list, it goes Crazy Train, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Paranoid. So Slash and I are ready to go on stage at the end of the show. But his crew says he always cuts Mama, I'm Coming Home. It always goes straight from Crazy Train into Paranoid. So when Crazy Train finishes, just go out there and rock Paranoid. Right? Great. Okay. Crazy Train finishes. Me and Slash walk out on stage, and Ozzy goes, "This next one's called Mama, I'm Coming Home." And we're like, well, we don't know how to play that one. So we got to sheepishly just walk behind the amps and sit down behind the amps. We're just having a laugh, thinking that was pretty funny. Meanwhile, at the side of the stage, there's this crew guy who's just going bananas, like he's waving wildly, he's yelling at, we can't hear him over Mama, I'm Coming Home, but he's like gesturing wildly and sort of beckoning to us, and we're just sort of laughing at this guy and wondering what his problem is. Finally, he gets up the courage to like tiptoe over to us and says, "You guys are sitting on the pyro and it's about to go off." We're like, "Well, thanks a lot, dude." So we run off stage, and sure enough, like all of the big grand finale, Mama, I'm Coming Home pyro goes exploding. Right, so Ozzy nearly blew up Slash and Tom Morello, and still I had it in my heart to do the Back to the Beginning show for him. I love that guy.
Have you had the chance to see the new Ozzy documentary, No Escape From Now, that just debuted on Paramount?
I haven't. Have you seen it?
I have, and I thought it was phenomenal, and it was like it was really poignant, and I thought there was a couple of times I held back some tears. So.
I'm sure. I did an interview for it. I'm not sure if my interview made it into the thing. Is why I was asking. But no, I haven't seen it. But it was it was such a great honor to it was that Back to the Beginning event was really a unique moment in music history, because I don't think there's ever been a time where a band of that stature that that invented a genre, heavy metal is the music that made me love music, and in their hometown, they were able to feel the love of all of some of the biggest bands in the world who owe everything to them, feel the love from those musicians, then feel the love from the city. It's a 20-minute walk from the door of that stadium to the door where Ozzy Osbourne grew up, to feel the love of the city that that made them, then to feel the love of millions of fans around the world who saw it on pay-per-view or who watched on YouTube or whatever. But not just only to feel that love, to be able to be there, present, alive, in the room, performing, and show that love back. Like nothing's ever happened like that in rock and roll, and the small part that I played in, I was very, very proud of.
It really was a special moment. I had a chance to check it out on pay-per-view, and it really was a moment in time that if you missed it, it's unfortunate. So
yeah, it was pretty special day, very special.
The one thing that I did get from the doc, and it comes up in the first 5 minutes of the doc, was that at some point Ozzy became obsessed with watching interviews of Ronnie James Dio, which I thought was interesting.
So, yeah. Another one of my all-time favorites. Yeah.
And you participated in the Bowl for Ronnie event with Eddie Trunk
every year. Yeah. This is actually the first. I'm going to be in on tour. This is the first year I'm missing it in like 10 years.
So can you set the record straight? Who's the better bowler, you or Eddie?
Oh, Eddie stinks. He'll tell you that. Like he bowls for the charity. I come from the Midwest, and I take bowling. If you grow up in like Chicago area, you bowled as a kid, so I take it very, very seriously. Last year, I got everybody in the whole room, I got the second highest score, which was maddening because you get a little Dio trophy for the highest score. But no, I take it very, very seriously, and I want our team to win. I get really mad though because there's this other team. There's like this rich dude that always hires a bowler, like as a ringer, and I see the guy every year, and I just try to mad dog him and get him to miss, but the guy's a really good bowler, and it makes me mad.
and Eddie's bringing in Nuno this year, so maybe
Nuno's been there before. Nuno will bowl. Nuno takes it serious too. I appreciate that.
So circling back, the last time you were in Toronto, you brought out Alex Lifeson from Rush to join you in Jam. What did you think of the announcement that Rush is coming back and hitting the road? You must be
couldn't be more excited. One of my favorite bands of all time. Love those guys. I'm so happy for them. That and it was awesome to rock Limelight with Alex on stage, and he's been a friend for a while. I texted him immediately when I saw the announcement and said, I'm coming to 10 of those shows. But I'm so happy for them, so happy for Rush fans. The world could use some Rush right now.
So then, do you have any special guests planned that you're going to bring out on this Canadian tour with you?
On the Canadian, you never know. Like it's a lot of the shows are Toronto, within a few hours drive of Toronto. So I'll see if I can strong arm some of my Canadian friends into coming. One never knows. But this show is not sort of based around a friends and family thing. In the fall, I'm doing an electric tour in the United States, which is Tom Morello and Friends. And those shows, Chicago, Boston, DC, New York area. There's a couple ones I might be missing, Connecticut. And that's something I've really enjoyed doing, is that when I really do bully and strong arm my musical friends in those cities to come out to create once in a lifetime nights of collaborations that you'll never see again.
Will that be a precursor to the next solo record?
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of shows I did a sort of a West Coast version of that, or an LA, San Diego version of that. And I really love, one of the things that, has been a strength in my musical career is curating stuff, and one, leaning on friends, loving to jam with people of different genres, and then making a night that is really once in a lifetime, that is very, very special. I was able to do that with the Back to the Beginning tour. And I love doing that at my own shows as well. I mean, we just played some shows in LA a few months ago, but like there's Wu-Tang Clan and Slash and Chavo from System of a Down, and Luke Spiller, and the guitarist of Måneskin, and all of a sudden, and Steve Van Zandt will show up, Ben Harper. All of a sudden, there's this crazy combination of musicians that, I cannot wait to get out my pad of paper and decide, okay, what cover songs are we doing? What songs of yours are we doing tonight? What songs are you joining of mine? That's the kind of show that I would love to be at. It's the kind of show I love being a part of.
And Chavo's got that side project with the guys from Wu-Tang. He's got to release that. We got to hear those tapes.
Yeah. Both Wu-Tang and System are two of my favorites.
I know you got to run in a second. I know that Soundgarden's being honored, and Chris Cornell, they're working on unreleased material that he worked with for the final Soundgarden record. I know there's material of Audioslave. Are we any closer to hearing some of that?
You're no closer. It's not for any, yes, there's probably like an album's worth of great Audioslave songs that were not released, in part because, first of all, let me explain that. When bands are deciding what songs go on their records and what don't, it's not always sensible. Like, it's not like, here's the 10 best jams. Sometimes it's like, someone likes this one, someone's not feeling that one. So we had, from each of the 3 Audioslave records, we had songs left over, some of which are really great. And, I hate to say this because it's just every time it comes up in an interview, it's a tease. It becomes a pull quote that people then hound me about. It's not for lack of anything other than just we don't have it together, and we're not. There's no like plan to not put it out. I would love for it to get in the world, and hopefully it will one day.
Well, hey, thank you for joining us. I hope to catch some of these Canadian shows, and I'm super excited for the next solo release.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm excited as well. And first of all, just hats off to all the Canadian fans. We did an electric tour, across Canada this summer, and Canada's always been so great to me and all of my bands. And so I can't wait to get back up there and play for the fans.
We definitely love you. So thanks.
Right on. Thanks very much for having me.
Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye now.